Hello, and welcome to the iChameleon tutorial. If you just purchased iChameleon or downloaded our trial, we'd like to thank you for your interest in iChameleon and for taking the time to learn more about iChameleon. We want you to get the most out of iChameleon. And for this reason, we have put together a step-by-step tutorial video walking you through all the powerful features of iChameleon. We highly recommend you take the time to watch this tutorial in full before you begin using iChameleon. Because iChameleon is very dynamic in its ability to perform a multitude of various tasks, new users may find themselves overwhelmed with where and how do I get started? So again, we urge you to watch our tutorials before getting started with iChameleon. Grab a drink if you will. I'll wait. Okay. Let's begin with the concept of iChameleon. What is iChameleon? I'm glad you asked. Let me start with what iChameleon is not. iChameleon is not an auto poster, but it has all the features you would find in a traditional auto poster. iChameleon is a powerful web automation software that allows you to automate virtually any web task. It is very diverse in its functions. iChameleon is able to help you perform tasks such as posting ads on popular classified sites like Craigslist, emailing, extracting data, filling in web forms, managing passwords, and much more than I have time to mention. Bottom line is iChameleon is capable of performing unlimited tasks. Now, please understand, as incredible as iChameleon is, there may be some tasks you're looking to perform that iChameleon may not be able to fully execute as desired. You can rest assured that you'll find iChameleon to be the best and easiest web automation software you've ever used. Okay, now that we've established what iChameleon is, let's get started with creating a profile and logging on to iChameleon for the first time. When you first launched iChameleon, a profile login dialog box appears. Before you can log into iChameleon, you need to create a profile. A profile identifies you to iChameleon as a unique user, which allows you to create and save unlimited tasks under your own profile ID. You can create an unlimited number of profiles under a single license of iChameleon on one computer. If you have a team who needs access to iChameleon, but you don't want them to have access to your personal information, they are able to create their very own profiles. We thought that would be a useful feature for our users who are concerned about their privacy. Alright, to create your profile, simply input a username of your choice into the field, Profile Name. Then enter a 5 to 10-digit password in the password field. Once finished, enter a password hint in case you forget your password. In the event you forget your password, you can retrieve it by clicking Forgot Password link and then entering your password hint answer in the field. Now, this is very important. Make sure you jot down your login information on a piece of paper, as we do not have any way of retrieving your login information from our end. Your password hint is the only way of retrieving your login information. Please understand, all tasks created and saved under a certain profile is only saved and accessible by that user only. Okay, now that you've created your profile, you are now able to log into the iChameleon Quick Launch Center. And for your information, you can have iChameleon remember your login details if you prefer to not always have to input your login information every time you launch iChameleon by checking Remember Me. Okay. Now you have created your profile. Let's go ahead and log in to iChameleon. This is the iChameleon Quick Launch Center. The purpose of the Quick Launch Center is to give you quicker access to important tools of iChameleon and its resources. Alright, as you can see, the Quick Launch Center, or User Center, is divided into 3 sections: Getting Started, Help, and General. Under the Getting Started section, there you can choose to create a web task, run a web task, create a variable, and compose a message. In order to begin to create a web task, you would need to click Create a Web Task. Once you click this link, it would take you to another window of iChameleon so you can begin to create your web tasks, but we will cover this in depth later. Then you have to run a web task. This link also opens up a new window of iChameleon, which is similar to the Create a Web Task window. The major difference from this window is it launches you right into your saved tasks you've created. And then you have Create a Variable. This is where you can create unlimited numbers of variables. I heard that. You're wondering, what are variables? Variables are a list that contains various data that can be used to input into a web form, but we will cover this in more detail later. And finally, in this section, you have Compose a Message. This is the link you would click to launch Composed Message Window. You can create HTML ads or plain text ads, and you'll also have the option of importing HTML or plain text documents. We'll cover all of these neat features of creating an ad in more detail later in this tutorial. Help. Alright, moving on to the Help section. There you can find our user manual, our FAQs, and even get direct access to our technical support straight from your user center. Also, there you can take a tour of iChameleon and watch all of our tutorials. And last but not least, you have the General section. In this section, you can suggest a new feature you would like to see added to iChameleon. Here, you can click to buy iChameleon. Once you've purchased iChameleon, you then need to send us your software ID by clicking on Software ID. Click OK to copy your software ID, and then paste it onto your email and send it to customer support at uniquesoftware.com. Once we received your software ID, we'll generate an activation code for you to activate your copy of iChameleon. When you received your activation code, copy it and paste it into the Activation iChameleon dialog box that appears when you click on Activate iChameleon. Now, iChameleon is fully functional. Moving on, you have the option where you can choose to delete your profile if you wish not to use a certain profile anymore. iChameleon is a very powerful automation software, yet it is very easy to use. Anyone can pick it up and start using it the same day. Now that you've gotten a snapshot of iChameleon and its power and how it can make your job much easier, let's get to the nitty-gritty. Alright, to begin to create a web task, you would need to click Create a Web Task. iChameleon launches a new window. In this area, you have all the tools and features needed to successfully create a web task that iChameleon can watch and execute as you have performed. There are many great tools and features that iChameleon offers you that makes it so robust and on demand among many serious entrepreneurs and small business owners. I'm going to walk you through all the features and tools of iChameleon one by one, explaining to you what each feature is and how you can utilize them in creating a task. At this time, we're not going to create a live task just yet, but rather, this is going to be a simple walkthrough of all the features and tools of iChameleon. Live task demonstrations will be shown at the end of this tutorial. Okay, let's begin with the menus. We have File menu. In this menu, you have the options to log off from iChameleon and return back to the profile login area. Then you have Go to User Center option if you wish to return to the Quick Launch Center. And last, if you wish to close down iChameleon and have it minimized to your tray, then simply click Close. Moving on to View. You have two options, Task Schedule Manager and Task Performed Log. In the Task Schedule Manager dialog box, it lists all tasks you have created and saved. Next to the task, you see Status, Inactive or Active. The status of the task simply tells you if you've scheduled the task to run on a certain day or time. If you schedule a task to run once or weekly, then the status will display Active. To schedule a task, you simply select the task you want to schedule by double-clicking on the desired task. Then you select the days you want the task to run on. Next, simply select the time you want the task to run at. You can view, pause, resume, and even instantly perform a task. The scheduler is very robust and flexible to your needs. You'll find it to be very efficient and a huge time saver. Next, you have Favorites. If you have a task that you use often, then you can add this task to your favorites. And you can do this by simply clicking Manage Favorites and then select the task from the list of available tasks and adding it to Favorites. And next to Favorites, you have Recent. The Recent menu gives you quick access to your most recent created tasks and top 5 most used tasks.